On question 4, we're making a golden rectangle such that its shorter length is equal to the length of GD down here. Golden rectangle looks kind of like this. Number 4. So what you do is you start off with a square, and our square is going to have the side length of GD. It's like this. Here's G and here's D. And then what I do is I find the midpoint of one of these sides, and I stretch the compass from that midpoint to one of these vertices, and then I'm going to drop down my compass setting down here. It's like this is the radius of a circle. If I extend out this side, now this is going to give me the other length of my rectangle. Here would be the short length, which is the one they gave me, GD, and then my other length of my rectangle is made from finding the distance from the midpoint to that opposite vertex. Then I complete my rectangle here, and this thing is golden such that the ratio of this long side to the short side is equal to 1.618-ish. Goes on forever. Okay, so let's start by copying our segment GD down to our piece of paper. And someplace on here, put a point, and I guess it would be helpful if I actually measured this length. There we go. Measure this length. And just like we did in a previous video, if I make two perpendiculars here, I can just copy this length onto those two perpendiculars to create my square. And it looks like I didn't make this side quite long enough, so I'll extend it out a little bit. And then make two sad dead cyclopses off of these 2 points to basically bisect that 180-degree angle. So just choose any compass setting and make some sad faces around these 2 points. I know that these right now look like happy faces. That's just based on your perspective. Now they're sad faces. Okay, now from these 2 points of intersection, we'll make our dead guy's eye above these. Stretch out the compass a little bit more. Here's our first dead guy's eye. I'll connect to G and then make one more below or above, just depending on your perspective, D. Okay, and I'll extend these things out in order to create my other 2 sides of my square here. I don't necessarily need to see all of this part here, so I'll just extend it from my point D upwards. Same thing over here on G. Just extend it up here. So here are 2 sides of my square. I'll copy this segment length from G to D again, and then copy it up top on both of these. And if I connect these 2 and keep going, I'll have part of my rectangle. I'll just need to figure out how far out it goes to the right of point D. So let's put some points here, line these things up with a straight edge. Hear all that noise out there? Class just was dismissed. All right. Okay, so the next step is to turn this square into the golden rectangle by bisecting one of these sides, finding the midpoint, setting my compass from the midpoint to this opposite vertex to drop that down here. So we'll do another 2-tailed fish. First centered at G, and then centered at D. And from these 2 points intersection, I'm going to find the midpoint. And when I find the midpoint, I'm going to find the midpoint of both these sides. It'll make it a little bit easier to complete the golden rectangle. Okay, so here's one midpoint, and here's the other midpoint. And I'm going to stretch, just so that it's easier to refer to these points, let's call this M, and this one E. I'll stretch the compass from M to E. And then drop this thing straight down. If I turn this compass setting around, let's call this one N, and I stretch it to D, this should be the same compass setting. And it definitely is. And now I'll stretch it upwards to make it intersect the top part of our rectangle. Put 2 points of intersection here. Connect these to complete the golden rectangle. Here we go. And our golden rectangle will be G, O, L, W. So I already had a D there. Oh, well. Okay. And so the thing about the golden rectangle is the ratio of the long side to the short side is this golden ratio 1.618. And it comes from the length of this long side down here, long compared to the short side, is equal to the sum of the two sides, the long side plus the short side, long plus the short side, divided by the length of the long side. So if you solve this algebraically, this is one of the solutions to that quadratic equation. So that is a golden rectangle made with GD being the shorter length of the rectangle.